A little over a month ago, one of our young children here at Fort Street reported seeing angels in our sanctuary during the worship service. Interestingly enough, one of our guests on that very same day also told me this place was filled with angels. Did you see them? None of the rest of you told me about this. And I have to wonder if this child sensed something of spiritual significance here that day, something that maybe most of the others didn't know, or maybe others noticed but were afraid to say how they saw God's power in this place that morning. Because you see, something like this is kind of challenging for most Presbyterians to talk about. But you see, when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, when we are open to the reality of our own lives, experiencing the self behind our defenses, letting our authentic selves be seen, when we are open to the realities beyond ourselves, experiencing the power of God in ways we never imagined, we start to notice new things. Things begin to happen. New possibilities open up. We need to listen to our children and youth and young adults. For while they may indeed be the future of the church, of society, of our world, these young people are also our present, telling us things we otherwise would not know, things we need to know right now to be the community we're called to be, and things we do need to know in order to move effectively into the future. When our youth tell us they don't like worship, it's boring, it doesn't meet their needs, we need to hear them and to let them lead us into new things that God is doing, teaching us things we do not know, things essential for any church if it is going to be relevant in the 21st century. It may be our young people who lead us into the new places we need to go, and we prepare ourselves to hear their voices by trying to understand their reality. Not just the usual normal issues of growing up and establishing oneself. We've all been there. We have a lot of wisdom to share about this. But also we need to know many things are different now. These young people have always lived in a high-tech world with information coming at them at incredible speed and intensity. Much of what undergraduates learn in the first 2 years of college will be obsolete by the time they graduate, assuming that they graduate in 4 years, which in this day and age is sometimes nearly impossible. Our youth are really busy in tons of organized activities. It's expected, almost required, perhaps necessary if they're going to get into the colleges they want. They don't need us to find more things for them to do. They need to be part of a faith community that takes seriously the challenges of their lives and addresses these challenges. Concerns about whether or not they're going to fit in. The pressures they feel to get grades. Worries about paying for college or even getting into the college they want. Whether or not they'll eventually find a job. The pressures out there to make good choices about alcohol and a whole lot of other drugs that we probably never even heard about. About sexual identity and sexual activity, about cheating and bullying and friendships and loyalty and betrayal, about healthy relationships, being yourself, setting goals, and staying the course. If we're going to be a vibrant 21st century church, if we're going to even be here very far into the 21st century, we have to listen to young people starting right now. If we cannot hear them, if we do not listen, they'll simply look elsewhere, and there are plenty of options out there. If we do not offer something of relevance, they'll find what they need somewhere else. They don't want to sit around passively. They want to be taken seriously and be very involved. Now, I'm not to the point, at least not yet, of having them text me during my sermon telling me I'm missing the mark, and Pastor, here's what you need to do right now if you're going to bring this message home. But we do need to listen and really hear what young people have to tell us, and we need to respond. Jesus went on. If you do anything to cause a child to stumble, you might as well tie one of those millstones around your neck. You know those great big millstones in the mills that we used to have that ground the grain and things in days gone by? It would be better for you to tie one of those large millstones around your neck and jump into the deepest part of the Detroit River than to put an obstacle in the way of the potential of any child. Woe unto you if you cause a young person to stumble. Woe unto you if you do not protect children and youth. Woe unto you if you do not do everything you possibly can to ensure that every child has the resources needed to grow and to thrive. Woe unto you if you do not help young persons find their own voices and have their voices heard, not someday in the future, but right now. Woe unto you if you do not empower children, youth, and young adults in our midst and beyond our doors. The Spirit of God is upon us to be transformed and be a transformational community of faith. The Spirit of God is upon us to follow Jesus right into the heart of the city, being a transformational force, making a difference in Detroit, being change makers, problem solvers, turning creative energies into exciting possibilities. And a central component of this transformation will be our children, our teenagers, our young adults, as we listen carefully to their voices, allowing them to transform us. Thanks be to God for the young people in our midst. Amen.